Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. I can't believe it's time to do my yearly favorites. Holy cow, this year went by so incredibly quick. I feel like I've only done 3 monthly favorites, but no, I've done 11 and now we're doing the yearly. I am still gonna do a December. I didn't do a December last year, but I feel like I want to do a December this year because there are some specific products I'd like to talk about that don't necessarily make it into my yearly, but I was still loving this month. But anyways, that'll be a little bit later. We're going to talk about my favorite products in 2019. These aren't necessarily products that came out in 2019, but they are products that I discovered in 2019 and that I've been absolutely loving. There are plenty of products that carried on from 2018 into 2019 that I love, but I'm not talking about those. These are just the products that I kind of discovered and learned to love, and it was actually really hard to pick. I felt like I could lay my entire collection out and just talk about it, but I tried to curate it down as much as I could into my actual favorites for the entire year. So this video is probably going to be long and I have to go to work soon, so let's just jump into it. We're just going to go simply in the order that I do my makeup. Starting with my brows, I discovered my favorite brow products ever, and they are the Anastasia Dip Brow Gel and the NYX Control Freak Clear Brow Gel. The Dip Brow Gel has fibers in it, so it helps kind of fill your brows in while also setting them into place. And the Clear Brow Gel, honestly, it just sets them. It's clear. I like the brush on it. It holds them in place nicely. I'm a big fan of both of these products. These are the only two things I use in my brows, and they have been a life changer because it's so quick, it's so easy. I don't have to spend a lot of time on my brows anymore, and I feel like I love the way they look more than ever, and I get compliments on them all the time, in real life and online. It's great. The 3 primers that stuck out to me this year are first the Beauty Bakery Wake and Bake Oil. I discovered this earlier in the year. I haven't used this recently, but if you guys have been here since the beginning of the year, you would absolutely remember me using this constantly. I actually want to bust it out again and see how I still feel about it, but I remember absolutely loving this product. It became one of my favorite things ever. I used it every single day. It was foolproof for me. It was fantastic. This is actually my second one because I finished the whole first one. The next primer I have is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've been wanting to try this for such a long time, but I could never get a hold of it with it being in stock because it was always sold out. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I can't say personally if I think it's a dupe because I haven't tried that one, and that is way out of my price range, but this is very comfortably in my price range. I love this. It made my skin feel so smooth. This is one of the first primers ever that I used and loved that wasn't just like a hydrating primer. Like the oil, it's still just like a hydrating thing. This is the first like pore filling kind of smoothing primer that I felt like I liked and did something for me. I felt like it made my skin look super smooth. Again, I haven't used this in a while because I discovered my all-time favorite, but this was still one that I loved for a good chunk of the year, and I felt like it was fair for me to talk about it. And my number 1 favorite primer ever, which I know you guys will know what I'm going to talk about, is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I wanted to try this, but I just didn't want to bite the bullet on it, and I was content with what I already had. And then somehow I got put on Milk Makeup's PR list, which is mind-blowing. So they actually sent this to me, and I love it. And I've been using this non-stop since like beginning of October, and I've barely used it. It's like a third gone, and I've used it constantly. This is the best primer. It works great with every foundation I've used, even foundations I were iffy about, now I like because of this primer. It's magic in a bottle. It makes my skin feel kind of tacky, so the makeup sticks really nicely, but it also hydrates me and makes my normal to dry skin feel nice and fresh and plump. I just love this primer. I will 100% repurchase this when it's gone. It's fantastic. I tried a lot of foundations this year. I guess it was kind of the year of foundations. A lot of things were coming out, especially dewy foundations, and that is very much up my alley. But I narrowed it down to my 2 favorites. This first one is my Anastasia Luminous Foundation. I think it's fantastic. It's what I'm wearing today. It's just so good. It leaves my skin looking so nice. I get compliments all the time. It's fantastic. I'm almost out of it and I'm going to need to buy some more soon. This is probably the foundation I'm going to wear at my wedding in February just because I love it so much. It lasts so long on me. My nose doesn't break up. I don't get smile lines too bad with this foundation. It's just so good, and I'm just a big fan of it. It's probably my favorite foundation I've ever tried. And then coming right in second place, this one was also sent from Milk Makeup. This is the Blur Foundation. This is a matte foundation, and I can't believe I love it so much because I do not like matte foundation. This one I feel like doesn't look too matte. It looks a little bit more natural on my skin. I love it so much. I can't believe again that I love it as much as I do. It glides on the skin so nicely. It lasts such a long time. Both of these foundations are so foolproof. I actually might try mixing them together. Maybe that would be a good concoction for my wedding. We will just have to see. I'm gonna have to do a lot of research in January on what I'm gonna wear. And yeah, I really like this foundation too. Those were my top 2 favorites. I feel like I'd be content living with just those for the rest of my life. For concealers, I was able to narrow it down to 2 as well. Granted, I didn't try very many concealers, but the ones that I tried, these are the 2 that made the cut. First is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I loved the Conceal and Define concealer for a long time, but the Conceal and Hydrate definitely took its place. It blends so nice. It's so creamy and lovely. Love the finish of it. It's a little bit more of a satin, kind of medium coverage. I wouldn't call this one full coverage. I love it though. It blends so nice. I like to wear this one on days that I'm not even wearing foundation. I just want some concealer. This is the one I reach for. And my number 1 all-time favorite concealer of all time currently is the Juvias Place I Am Magic Concealer. This one's a bit more full coverage, but it's still very creamy, very hydrating. Neither of these concealers dry too fast, so I find that I have plenty of time to blend it out and have it do its thing. I'm a big fan of it, and I feel like this is also going to last me forever because it's absolutely ginormous. We are skipping past cream bronzer, cream contour because I've been using the same thing since last year, so nothing new there. We're going to move on to cream blush though. This was the year of cream blush for me. I was terrified of it before this year. I never wore it. I didn't understand how it worked, but now I use it literally every single day. I can't get enough. And I have my 3 favorite formulas right here in front of me. The first being the ColourPop Blush Sticks. I feel like I use Mini-Me the most, but it looks like this. With all of these products, I just use my damp beauty sponge. I swirl the product onto my sponge and dab it onto my face. Works like a dream. I never have issues. I do this before I set my face with powder, which is why I haven't talked about setting powders yet. Love this product with my whole heart. I want all the colors. Absolutely all the colors. They're so cute. Next is the Milk Makeup Swish Lip and Cheek Stick. Swish is the color. It's a bright pink and it's very cute. I love the way it blends out. Very similar to the ColourPop one. This one might be a little bit more full coverage. The other one might be a little more sheer. They're all very similar though. A cream blush is a cream blush. Honestly, if you find a formula that works for you, just stick with it. They did send me this one in PR and I'm so grateful. I really want to try more colors from this line as well. And finally, I have the Softwear blush from Lime Crime. This is in the shade Zip. It's my favorite neutral cream blush. You can see how much I have panned this blush. I'm gonna need a replacement soon. I love this product. This one is a cream and it kind of blends out and then sets to like a matte kind of powder. The other ones stay a little bit more creamy, more dewy before you set it, but this one kind of gets all the way set down, which is really nice, especially for those of you who like a matte blush. I think you'd enjoy this if you were looking for a cream, but matte one. This one is fantastic. Moving on to setting powder. I don't feel like there were any cream or liquid highlights that really stuck out in my brain as being like #1 favorite things ever. I did use some, but nothing that was like the most revolutionary thing where I feel like I need to use it every day. So we're gonna move right on into setting powder. And the #1 setting powder, and the only one I'm gonna talk about, is the Milk Makeup Blur. I love this. It's so good. Again, they sent this to me, but I already bought another one during the Sephora sale. It's in my drawer. And this one's also lasting me a long time. I've been wearing this every day since October, and I still have plenty of product in here. Something about the component does not make me overuse it. It melts into the skin and makes my skin look so blurred and beautiful. This never looks cakey on me. It works on top of every foundation I use, every concealer I use. I know from a lot of you, you guys really enjoy this as well. It's a favorite amongst a lot, and I can totally understand why. And I feel like for a high-end setting powder, the pricing wasn't that high. I can't remember off the top of my head how much it was, but I've definitely spent more on powders in the past. This one was a little bit more reasonable. And especially with how long it lasts, that's amazing. I think I can probably get another month out of this, honestly. So I might only have to buy this like 3 or 4 times a year max, probably closer to 3, and I'm very happy about that because this is such a fantastic powder. I don't think anything will be able to replace it. I like it more than any powder I've ever used in my life. All right, I don't really have a powder bronzer to talk about just because it's not really my thing. I don't use it too often, and the ones that I use are ones that I've used since last year, but I did discover a contour palette this year. The Lunatick Labs contour palette, they actually sent this to me in PR, which was so shocking. I've been lusting over this palette for years, and this is what it looks like. The pans are refillable. As you can see, you can pop them out. I reach for this bright yellow a lot to kind of clean up underneath my blush so that my cheeks stay nice and bright and clean. I use it under my eyes sometimes. These contour shades are really nice. Mixing the grays with the browns creates a really good natural shadow. These blushes are really cute. I think this is a fantastic palette. It's quite pricey, but I feel like it's a very well-rounded contour palette, and I can really get use out of all of these shades if I want to. So that's amazing. I will definitely be refilling this palette with shades as I use them up because I really like the formula. It's very easy to blend out, and they sit nicely on my skin. What can I say? For powder blush, I have 3 blush palettes I want to talk about with you. And the first one is the Juvias Place in collaboration with Fumi. It's the Queen palette. So this is a universal eye and cheek palette. You can see how destroyed this blush is. This is like my #1 favorite neutral blush of all time. It's a little bit peachy, but a little bit more neutral when it's actually blended on my skin. The highlight in here is so fantastic. I'm absolutely taking this traveling with me on my vacation in a couple days. I'll already be back by the time this video goes up, but I'm absolutely bringing this with me. The pink and the purple and the red, they can make really cute blushes with a light hand, but these also make beautiful eyeshadows. This was just such a well-rounded palette, and I had to include it in this video. Next is the Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy she launched this. This made me fall in love with yellow blush. The orange is so cute, the red, the pink. The fairy blush is coming out tomorrow. As I'm filming this, that'll have already launched by the time this goes up as well. I can't wait to buy it. That one has like a peach, a pink, a blue, and a purple, and I can't wait to have that in my hands. This is such a good formula. It's so pigmented. These are also vegan and eye safe, so you can use them as eyeshadows, which I've done before many times. I just love this palette. The artwork is so cute, and I just can't wait to see what else she comes out with. I'm so happy another one is already coming out this year. Finally, this one I fell in love with at the beginning of the year, and I've re-fallen in love with it now at the end of the year. It's my Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette. There are 4 shimmery blushes in here. These are so magnificently glowy. I feel like you can almost use this as a blush highlight hybrid, because you could probably get away with not highlighting your face with these because it just leaves the beautiful highlighted sheen on your cheeks. It's so cute. I love this. I feel like wintertime especially really makes me want these frosty, yummy, shimmery blushes, which I feel like is opposite. I think a lot of people prefer shimmer blush in the summer. I prefer it all the time, but I definitely gravitate towards this palette specifically in the winter, considering I was using it around this time last year, and now I'm back at it again. All right, so moving on to highlights. I have 4 different brands I want to talk about. The first being the Kaleidos highlights. I just grabbed this random one here. This is Skywalker. They came out with 6 shades this year. I love absolutely all of them. Skywalker might be my favorite. It's a really pretty icy baby blue color. It's so nice. It has beautiful sparkle to it. It's such a blinding, beaming highlight. I love the packaging. So much thought went into this, and I'm such a fan. I'm a fan of this brand in general. Can I just put Kaleidos in general on my favorites for 2019? Because they are killing it. I can't wait to see what they do next year. Next from Give Me Glow is my Snow Angels Loose Highlights. This one is... It's messy because it's loose, but it's so insanely white and bright and glowy on my skin. Between this one and the one I'm going to talk about next, those are in tie for which one I'm going to use as my wedding highlight, because I love the way it photographs. It melts into the skin so beautifully. Something about a powder highlight just blends into the skin so seamlessly. It doesn't leave as much of a powderiness as pressed ones do, but they are messy. There's pros and cons, but this one is absolutely stunning. I recommend it to literally everyone I talk to who compliments it. And next is the Juvias Place Clio highlight. It's what I'm wearing on my face right now. It's so glowy and pretty. This one is also a contender for my wedding highlight. I love this. It's just such a pretty, neutral, champagne-y. I mean, you can see it on my skin. It just looks so pretty and glowy. And again, it melts into my skin so beautifully. I'm not swatching these products just because, like I said, I do have to go to work soon, so I'm just trying to roll through it a little bit. But you've also seen me use these products many times this year, and I don't know why this truck is driving by right now. Don't they know I'm filming? It's quite rude. And this last highlight is one Milk Makeup sent me. This is the Flex highlight in the shade Iced. I was terrified this would not be a good color for me because it's very gold, but it actually meshes onto my pale skin very nicely. They also have a shade called Lit that you guys have told me is a bit lighter than this one, so I really want to try that because this formula is so glidey and just melts into my skin. This one doesn't have sparkle to it. It's just pure glow. Oh, it's so pretty. I think really a lot of people would enjoy this highlight formula. It's a very good one. I would love for them to come out with an icy white one. That would make me so happy. Next is my Freckle product. I couldn't not talk about it. I discovered my love of freckles this year. Well, I've always loved freckles, but I've discovered a freckle product that I love this year. Before that, I was just using liquid lipsticks or brow pomades and things like that. But this Freck product, it's expensive, but it works so well. I get compliments all the time. People really think my freckles are real. I personally don't care if they look real or if they look fake. I just think they're cute regardless. But I love this product. I've repurchased it. I think this is my 3rd. I'm going to continue to repurchase it. One of you told me that Lottie London on Ulta's site has a Freckle product as well. It's like the same kind of idea. So I do want to try that because that's only $7 as opposed to $22. So I'm going to try that, see if I like it. But regardless, the Freckle product is amazing. I'm so happy with it. As far as setting sprays, I feel like my favorite discovery of the year were the, excuse me, Kanade, bless you, I mean, are the Apocalyptic Beauty setting mists. I've tried like 2 or 3 of the flavors. I have another flavor in my drawer as well. I say flavor, I mean scent. You know what I'm talking about. This specifically is the setting spray for the recently deceased. It's the one I've been using recently. All of them smell so nice. I can't say that they necessarily make my makeup last all day, but I don't necessarily feel like setting spray in general makes your makeup last all day, but I do like the finish it leaves on my skin. It makes my skin just, I don't know, it looks good. I think it looks nice. And I'm a big fan of these. They're very affordable, and you can use my code beautbean if you want to save 15%. I don't make a commission, but I do get store credit. I've gone through so many of these. I'm going to continue to repurchase them. They are a fantastic setting spray. And a lot of you that have tried them said you like it as well, which makes me happy. Moving on to eyes, I'm pretty sure I've been using the same Smashbox lid primer forever, so I don't really need to chat in detail about that eyeshadow primer. But I do want to talk about the NYX glitter primer. I discovered using this for my eyeshadows earlier in the year. I don't even know what prompted it. I think I literally just thought, what would happen if I use my glitter primer with shimmer shadows? And it works amazing. It makes them pop so much. They get so metallic and beaming and bright. Love this product. You guys do too. I will never stop using this with shimmers. It's just so amazing, and I feel like it doesn't give my shadows hard pan like setting spray can sometimes do. I love it with my whole heart. Okay, moving into eyeshadow palettes, I have a lot sitting here, but we're gonna get through it. The first one I'm gonna talk about is my #1 favorite. I discovered it December of last year, and it's the Ace Beauté Flare. Been using this for a year. It's still my #1 favorite. I just love the color story. It's grungy and colorful. It has so many of the tones that I love, and I love Ace Beauté's formula. We are going to go through this rather quickly because there are a lot. Also discovered very early in the year last year is the Paulina Blush Tribe collaboration. I guess I can open this one because there's no mirror. I love this. The color story is so cute. She absolutely killed it with this. It's very Paulina. It's not available anymore, but if you were lucky enough to get it when it launched, I'm sure you're in love with it because it's just so good. The quality is so fantastic, and I'm so happy I was able to support her in buying this. Also from the beginning of the year, I wanted to talk about the Pinky Rose trio of palettes, and I want them to come out with more so bad. They haven't released palettes since these, and it's been a year. But all of them had such fun color stories. This is the Exotic Peacock. The Obsessed palette looks like this. And then finally the 80s Baby. I've had a blast playing with these all year. I find myself constantly wanting to use these on days that I don't necessarily have to film my makeup, which is not often, but on the days that it does happen, I find myself wanting to reach for these. The quality is great, the color stories are so creative, and I'm dying for them to create more so badly. It's been way too long. Just in general, the Kaleidos makeup palettes had to make it on the list. They have absolutely killed it. I don't think I have a #1 favorite. I absolutely love them. I'm a big, big fan. And I can't wait to see what they come out with in 2020. I could rave about Kaleidos makeup forever. I thought it would be fun to include the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette in this video. I felt like they did such a good job with this palette. It's not exactly the same as their single press shadows, but it's also just a really good formula. They build up nicely. You can use these as pastels, but you can also build them up to be super bright. I find them to be pretty easy to work with, and I just thought it was such a fun, cute little palette. I really want Sugar Pill to come out with more palettes like this. I felt like this was perfection. Earlier in the year, I finally got to discover and try out Nomad Cosmetics. There is so much traffic going on outside. This is the Tokyo Harajuku palette, and it looks like this. It's a pastel dream. The top row is mattes, the middle row is satins, and these multi-chromes at the bottom are so stunning. You guys were very interested in this palette when I was showcasing it. The brand is so sweet. They chat with me sometimes, and they are just the most kind, supportive people. They actually told me they're putting me on their PR list, so I might try out some more things next year with whatever they come out with, and I'm very excited about it. But this was such a fun discovery. I loved playing with this palette. It was just, got my creative juices flowing, and I had a great time with it. All right. This was the year of blue-green palettes, and I have to talk about the 3 best ones. The first being the Certify Affinity 2. I had such a blast with this. I still find myself reaching for this when I need good blues and good greens. Well, really all of these I find myself reaching for. This formula is so beautiful. I loved these duochrome shades that are in the palette. I had so much fun playing with this. It was a good time. Next is the Ace Beauté Oceanic. Again, I love the formula. Ace Beauté is one of my favorites. And this palette's just so fun. I love these bright colors. I love these murky tones. The shimmers are beautiful. Something is so special about this palette, and I just absolutely loved playing with it. And then finally I have the Menagerie Whale Song, which I think is my favorite blue-green palette out of the three. It took me a long time to make that decision, but I think this one's my favorite of the three. It's either this or the Oceanic. It's so hard to pick. But this one is so nice. The mattes are so creamy and lovely. The shimmers pop so much. Love these grungy tones. Some of these brighter blues are so cute. I had the best time with this. I actually did a video about halfway through the year comparing all three of those palettes, so check that out if you are curious about which one you would prefer, because there are actually very distinct differences between all three of them. The Alma palette from Amy Hearts Beauty and Amy Loves Makeup, I just had to talk about. They did such a good job with this. This was a more recent release. This came out maybe a month ago, and man, it's so pretty. They just did such a good job. I love this formula. It's very soft and blendable and easy to work with. The shimmers pop so much. The duochromes in this palette are to die for. They killed it with this palette, and I felt like it was very deserving of being in my favorites for the year. And finally, probably my favorite release of the entire year, which is going to be no surprise to you because I gushed over this so hard, the Melt Cosmetics Muerte palette. Everybody seemed to enjoy this palette. I didn't hear any bad things, which is very exciting. The color story is so stunning and inspiring. I absolutely adore this. I loved playing with it, and I'm going to continue loving playing with it for a very long time. And that's going to conclude eyeshadow palettes. So we are getting through it. For me, this year was the year of colorful eyeliners, and my favorite eyeliner brands are the NYX ones. Specifically, I think the ones I use the most are Oxblood, which is a dark red, Platinum, which is a beautiful bright silver, and Glitzy Gold, which is a beautiful bright gold. I use these constantly. I'm sure you guys know that. I also love the ColourPop liners. Some of my favorites are Punch, which is yellow, Crybaby, which is lavender, Venus, which is red, and what are you called? Punch, maybe? Prance, which is a like periwinkle color. Love these pencils. All of these blend so nice on my waterline and last all day for me. And also the LA Girl Super Shock or Shockwave, Shockwave Neon eyeliners and lip liners. Pretty much all the colors I like. Specifically in my hand are Blaze, Fresh, and Fiery. Blaze and Fiery are lip pencils, but I do use them in my eyes, and I've never had an issue. My favorite lash brands that I discovered this year are Bold Face Makeup. That's what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing the style Next Level. The ones in my hand are called Mega Babe, which is one of my all-time favorite styles. And I also discovered Rouge and Rogue. These ones are called Lady Killer, and I love them so much. Every lash I've tried from both of these brands I've adored. They're very big and fluffy and lovely, and I'm going to continue buying from them for a while. Also Likely Makeup lashes. I don't have any on deck, but those were also a favorite. Finally, we're getting into lip products. This NYX Bear With Me lip conditioner has been my favorite lip primer for every lipstick for the last probably 4 or 5 months. I really enjoy this product. It makes all of my even drying liquid lipsticks look really nice on my lips. One of my favorite colors I've discovered this year is Cider from Black Moon. It's what I'm wearing right now. I just think it's such a fun yellowy mustardy color. Don't know if it's still available because they brought it back for a limited time. It was sold out for a long time. Don't know if it's still available. I really wish they would make it permanent because it's so adorable. The Lime Crime Lip Blaze formula is so creamy and lovely, and I just cannot get enough of it. It's so delicious. Love the color Fern specifically, that's this one. They're so conditioning and just glidey and smooth. Such a fantastic product. The ColourPop So Juicy Gloss is so cute and plumping and lovely. I only have 2 of the colors. Stuntin' is one of my favorites. I want so many more of them because they're just so cute, and they're so old school with their like squeezy tube. They remind me of those Victoria's Secret glosses. They're so fun, and they're adorable. The Menagerie liquid lipsticks were a discovery this year because they came out this year, and I really like the formula. It's more of a velvet matte, so it dries down, but it has a little bit more of like a velvety creaminess to it rather than just full-on matte. It's very hard to describe, but that's my best attempt at it. This is the shade Pink Pachyderm, one of my favorite colors from that line. The 2 Sugar Pill glosses that I tried this year, Bloom and Flicker, are both stunning. They feel so comfortable and glidey on the lips, and then there's glitter in them, but you can't really feel the glitter in my opinion. They last a long time, and I get so many compliments when I wear these shades. I need so many more glosses from Sugar Pill. And finally, my very last thing I just wanted to touch on is Nurse from Sugar Pill. It's my favorite red of all time. I discovered it this year, and I just felt like putting it in this video. I love their liquid matte formula. It's very comfortable. I feel like it looks very petally on the lips, like a rose petal, especially because it's red. and I just think it's cute. Whew, that was a lot of talking. I have to leave for work in like 5 minutes and I haven't even eaten yet, so that's fantastic. What were your favorite products in the year 2019? I would love to know. Were there any things you thought I was going to talk about but didn't? Are there any things you were surprised made it on my list? Let's just chat about our favorite things for the year. I can't believe this year's over, but I'm really excited for 2020 to start. If you made it to the end of this long chatty video, leave me your favorites emoji for this favorites video. I think that would be fun. And if you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting every day in the month of December. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.